Hi, Rigsters here, back with another episode of the F-16 series. Where we last left off, we did the bombing with CCIP. Now we're going to do a gun strafe. And the eagle-eyed viewers are like, hey, this is like the same instance. Yes, it is. So let's get started. So the first thing you want to do for guns is just to make sure the master arm is set to arm. Always do that. And to switch to gun mode, we are in the bomb mode right now, is we click on the AG on the top left corner here. Now it'll say gun, and it'll say gun strafe. So the ready 5.1 gun means it's 510 rounds remaining. The RNG on the bottom here is the clock wind up distance. I'm going to actually lower that by clicking on that, and I'm going to change the bullet in range indication to 7,000 feet, and then hit enter. So what that does is the in-range counter will be winding up and down at a different distance, in this case 7,000 feet instead of default 12,000 feet, because I like to be a little closer when I do that. So we're going to go back to the same range that we did before. Now, unlike with bombs, what you want to do with gun is you want to pull the second detent if you have a two-stage trigger. If you only have a one-stage trigger, then just put it on the second detent. Another nice thing to have is if you have the nitrogen targeting pod, you can arm the laser and you can hold down the first detent and it will fire a laser and it will help range the target better. This can only be done if you have the nitrogen pod equipped. You can still use the gun without the targeting pod. It will show it right here with the laser arm L. It will flash when you're doing the first detent. You could also bind a button to do this instead if you don't have a two-stage trigger. The bare minimum, just make sure you have its second detent option or controls checked. I'm so used to saying options, my apologies. So I'm gonna climb a bit out of the plane. Now, gun strafes, it's not an A10. You're not gonna do crazy things with this gun. It's a 20 mil cannon, for crying out loud. It's not a ground attack cannon, but you can do interesting results with lighter armored targets or infantry or certain ammo dumps. So I'm going to roll in. So as you can see here, it's just like before with the ball and chain, but now you have a circle. So you aim ahead, and let it be between 20 and 25 degrees for this case, and you'll see this circle wind up. As you get closer, it starts counting down. And then you start aiming with the pipper as you get closer and closer. Now we're in range, it's going to wind down. So I'm going to do a full burst, just like that. And we almost used all our rounds just doing that. So it was kind of hard to see, but with that circle bracket I was doing, the little circle right here, that little thick, it was like a thick triangle line that was counting down like a crescent moon. The closer it gets to the right side of the circle, the closer you are in range to the target. The further to the left of the circle, the further out you are to the target. Now, why would you reduce the range? Because if you fire from too far out, half the time I've noticed that the plane tends to miss a little bit if you're not steep enough of an angle. So I'm going to actually climb up again and do a full afterburner and just do one more brief pass so you can actually take a look here and see what it looks like. And with full afterburner, this plane is extremely light, so it's going to be very quick. Because this plane can accelerate in a climb. That's how much thrust this plane has at lower weights. I'm actually accelerating at almost 30 degrees right now, so to speak. It's actually pretty hilarious that you can do that in these planes. So I'm gonna reduce it pretty much to idle. Gonna go back around. There's not gonna be much bullets left, so normally when you do these gun strafe runs, you don't have to fire your entire load at the target. It's just so you can demonstrate what it looks like when you're firing at it. I don't know how to do those cinematic shots, by the way. I know people would have done that through some of these tutorials, but I don't know how to do it. I would be willing to learn it though someday, but not right now. So we're gonna do a really crazy example and actually go like 65 degrees.
Altitude.
Then range, fire. There we go. I might not be able to pull this up.
Altitude.
Oh man, yeah. That's the risk you take when you do a more than 40-degree dive. Like, it's almost vertical, so you have to pull really hard G's to get out of that. And you only should do that when you're lightweight like this, because if I had bombs or heavier weapons on this plane, that would have hit the ground. So, that is basically a very brief tutorial on gun strafing. Hope you enjoyed this video. On the next one, we're going to do some rockets. So, hope that helped. This is Rigsters Journey, signing off.